So our table topics master, please help me welcome Shannon. Shannon, welcome.
Fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests. How many, did any of you watch the Mickey Mouse Club when you were little? Or actually recently? Do you remember Opposite Day? When you did things opposite? I just vaguely remember that because I was watching reruns when I was little, but they didn't seem to come on regularly. That's what I'd like to do today. We used to do it in our other club sometimes when somebody was Toastmaster. And basically, I'm going to give you a topic that somebody normally would not be agreeing with, but I would like you to explain why you like this. The question is, why are you so happy that today is so cold? Laura, come on up and tell us why you're so happy that today is so cold.
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests, especially Anne Maria. I'm so excited that it's cold outside because, well, first of all, I was born in December, so this is my natural habitat. And I'm really excited because it's giving the trees a chance to shed their leaves and kind of bare their branches for a couple of months while the snow falls and creates the picturesque views that we all know from Norman Rockwell paintings or any other of your favorite artists that you know who paints winter scenes. I'm also really excited because it'll give me a chance to walk a little faster and improve my fitness because I want to stay warm. It'll also give me an excuse to go to Starbucks in the afternoon when I'm cold and I need something to warm me up. And then finally, it'll give me a chance to remember that summer is just 6 to 7 months away. Thank you.
Supposedly, our Illinois income taxes are going to go down at the end of December, because they had that temporary 2% increase that was only supposed to be there for 2 years, I think, or a certain amount of time, but it's supposed to expire at the end of December. Please tell me why it is that you're upset that, in fact, our taxes are going to go down. Rhonda.
Okay, so unlike most people, I enjoy paying taxes. Taxes are very useful. Taxes help pay for the police. They help pay for streets and sanitation. They help pay for the schools that most of our children go to. So if they actually reduce the taxes, then we'll have less money. As we can already see, schools are not the best in Illinois, so if we have less money for schools, the schools will even get worse. We have lots of crime. Anyone who lives in Chicago should know this by now. Well, if we have less money, we'll probably have less police. In addition, I don't drive, so I love public transportation. Some of that is more than likely subsidized with my tax dollars. So if they give the money to me, I will probably go buy shoes. That will not help me with safety, that will not help me with schools, and that will not help me with public transportation. Therefore, I vote for a raise in taxes to increase all of those services. Thank you.
I'm a little bit of a science geek, and yesterday, for the first time ever, planet Earth landed a spacecraft on a comet. Amazing, astounding, magical, and yet someone doesn't like it. Sam, please explain why.
Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, I am deeply upset that we landed a probe on a comet. And the reason why is because comets used to be this mysterious object flying in the sky. When I was a kid, Halley's Comet, everyone was talking about it. And now, these scientists have ruined it by sending a probe and landing it directly on the comet. Where is the mystery? Where is the excitement? It's gone. Nothing, there's no sanctity left to any sort of mystery from the cosmos. And as a result, I have to say that the child in me is crushed and deeply disappointed. I will never, ever look at a comet the same way again. And frankly, hopefully a comet will not hit our planet anytime soon. Thank you very much.
Another thing I read today, which surprised me somewhat, was that one of the priests had gone out in Rome and was visiting the homeless people, many of whom were pilgrims who came to Rome specifically to go to St. Peter's or for some other reason. A lot of them were from foreign countries. A lot of them did not have any money. He invited one of the people to come to dinner with him because he could see that the guy needed some food. And the guy said, "No, I can't. I smell. It would just be disgusting." And he said, "Well, why do you smell?" And he said, "There's no place I can take a shower. I use the bathrooms at St. Peter's because they're public, but there's no showers." So this priest went and talked to Pope Francis, and Pope Francis said, "Let's put in some showers." Rocky, why is that the wrong thing to do?
Yeah. Thank you very much. Some of you know what's going on here. And some of you are holding back what's going on in the Vatican there. It's this mystery. I know, you probably thought, oh, I saw this movie before. There's corruption there. That's all about money and there's all kinds of stuff. But no. We're putting in showers for people that need to be actually cleansed. However, that is the wrong thing to do. Let me share with you why. First of all, let's think about showers. You use up a lot of water. We're running out of water, so let's not do that. And also, the expense, and plus, you put one shower in, there's a zillion homeless people there. They can't really crowd into one shower. I think the intent is very good, Laura, but I think the approach is miscalculated. Let me put a business aspect to it. Let's approach holistically so we can help everybody. And the answer is not water. It's not water. Because you drink the water. Let's not waste it. The answer is cleansing without water. That's exactly what I mean. You probably know, some of you that are in the healthcare industry, you can have sanitizing products. You don't need water. I went to a restroom the other day. All I had was soap. I cleansed. And there was no sinks there. And I thought, my first experience, somebody's ahead of the time. There's no water needed. Why? Because it's very precious, diminishing resource. So you can cleanse without doing. But here's the secret, Shannon, is that you can have it throughout for more people than just one. For many more. For thousands. So join me. The waterless shower. Shannon, welcome.
I don't know how many of you get the Discovery Channel. Unfortunately, I do not since I don't have cable, but this Saturday, an exciting event. A man volunteered to be swallowed by an anaconda. He put on a special suit so that the pressure from the anaconda swallowing him would not crush him. And he had some kind of loop on his feet or the bottom of his suit, so once he got down in there, people were able to pull him out. A lot of people are protesting this because there's no point in it, and it was kind of mean to the snake. But we have a celebrity in our midst. Michael, please tell us why you decided to put on the anaconda suit and get swallowed.
Fellow Toastmasters, I like doing foolish things. I looked at I don't know if you guys have looked last week, I think was the Flying Walinda that did the tightrope across downtown. I think it was our Marina Towers. And whereas most people may think you're a fool for that, I like danger. And I think it would be really, really cool to be swallowed by the anaconda just to say, I did it. If we don't take risk in life, we all are gonna look back and say, why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that? And if you decide at maybe the last moment to maybe take that risk, you'll probably think you may be in a home watching reruns of I Love Lucy, sitting up there wondering, if I only did this differently, maybe I wouldn't be sitting up there watching reruns of I Love Lucy. So even though people may look at me like I'm a lunatic and I belong in a straitjacket, I personally feel like you only live once and you live life to the best opportunities that it gives you. Thank you.
Good luck with that, Michael.
Yeah, no problem.
Very good.
Well, Thanksgiving is coming very soon, 2 weeks from tonight, in fact. And for many of us, that's a day full of delicious food. Yet one of our guests has decided to go on a hunger strike starting that day. Anne, could you please tell us your thinking in that matter? Come on down. We like to clap until they actually arrive.
Hello to everybody. I guess the reason I wouldn't want to eat that day possibly would be that I learned that the kinds of foods that they're having may not be as my favorite foods, supposedly. Or I find that I'm allergic to some of the foods that are on the table. Then let's see. Then I would, I guess I'm sorry, I'm trying to think of something.
A cause you support?
Excuse me?
A cause you support?
Oh, a cause I support. I would consider being part of a cause, and I can't think of what the no eat food cause.
And actually, I have to say, when I became a Toastmaster, I didn't find the speeches that hard, but I found table topics very hard. It took me quite a few months before I got relatively good at them. I recently read that pollution and the shrinking environments for animals and global warming are causing a problem so severe that many scientists think that 60% of all land animals will be gone by 2050. And probably 80% of fish will be gone by that time. Maria, tell us why that's a good thing. Oh, sorry, I forgot you can't walk. Thank you.
Okay, so there are many times in our history where we looked at events, situations, different types of economic terms, that we've had kind of the same feeling, that there's some replenishment that is not going to happen to a resource, or that it's going to be replenished in a way that is not beneficial to us. When we look at the situation with the environment, it's actually an opportunity. So we kind of want some things to flesh out and get rid of them, because the fish that we're actually eating are not necessarily the best kind. So if we lose maybe a large amount of these quote-unquote edibles, that we would actually be forced to have a healthier diet with not so many chemicals in the fish. Also with other things like legumes or vegetables, fruit, other forms of protein, would comes to the actual effect of a larger scale of the world, I think that at this point, it's only a recognition of it, and that it's good that we know about it now. It's good that it's happening now, because it's actually going to give us strength to make a better future for our kids, for our family, teachers, Toastmasters. So in a way, it is a really good wake-up call, and it's not traditionally what we would think to be effective, but it depends on how we view it, that it actually will be.
Thank you very much. And of course, you left out the delicious bugs we could be eating.
So in the same vein of Thanksgiving, but not necessarily focusing on the food, I guess that would be fun. Okay, so my thoughts were like, what are you thankful for? And, a lot of us are all thankful for our family and friends, but you know what, Shannon, I know you're thankful for something else. Family and friends. Maybe that's better. I'll do the tough one.
Fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests. Unfortunately, family and friends expect stuff from you, and I'm quite lazy. So it's a constant annoyance to me that they call me up and say, oh, could you come over and eat with us and celebrate Thanksgiving and be nice and have some food and take it home, like I don't have TV to watch. It's very, very frustrating, and unfortunately, if I don't go over, then it's just going to be calls all day long. Oh, are you sick? Why aren't you here? Somehow they just don't get that watching television is way more fun than hanging out with friends and family. And it saddens me that, in fact, my two friends and my rather large family are all kind of stupid because they just don't get it. TV is way more fun and much less effort. Sit at home, got a cat to pet, got some chips and carbonated water, which I love. That's a good day. Getting myself dressed up, going out in the cold, having to hang around with people and be polite, that's not a good day.
Icebreaker. Some. Go ahead. Evaluated by
You do.
Laura.
Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests. My name is Sam Wertheim. You've probably seen that my name is spelled like Sam. The story behind my name cuts to my heritage, my experiences, and essentially it shaped who I am. So, my name is Persian, to give you some background, and I was born in Iran in 1976. My father, who is American, met my mother in Tehran, Iran. He was studying to get his PhD in Persian history, and he had lived there for 9 years. And when he met my mother, they obviously got married, and when my mother was pregnant with me, he decided that he liked the name Sam because it's the name of a Persian hero from a book called the Shahnameh, which is the Book of Kings, a very famous work of fiction that many Persians know and can memorize verses from. So, when we moved to the United States in 1976, we moved to Arlington, Virginia, where my father is from. And, essentially growing up in the early 80s and having a strange name like Sam, that's spelled like Sam, produced a lot of interesting versions of my name. I've heard all sorts. I've heard salami, salmon, sob. So, essentially, I found myself having to, when I introduced myself, explain that it's pronounced Sam, even though it's spelled like Sam, and having to obviously give a background of my life and history to everyone because it's such a strange name. It's not like as if your name was, say, John or David. You're just John or David. But if your name is Sam, obviously there's more to it than just that. So growing up in the early 80s in the United States and having the strange name and being from a Middle Eastern country that recently was involved in a revolution and held hostages from the country that you're currently living in didn't make you exactly the most popular kid. I can't say that I experienced any sort of overt bigotry because my last name is American, because my father's American. But anytime you mention that you're Persian or Iranian, you got blank stares and some comments. So I will say that I'm very proud of my heritage, and I will say that growing up in a family that is multicultural is very difficult. One of the reasons why I decided to join Toastmasters is because I find myself not willing to put myself out there and engage people because, frankly, I get tired of having to explain my name all the time. So, if you find yourself not being able to remember how to pronounce my name, I usually tell people that it's like Tom, but with an S. Or you can remember a little rhyme that I've created. And the way it goes is this. Sam is the bomb. Word to your mom. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sam. Now let's invite our evaluator to share a little more in depth that has collected some of these thoughts and is going to share with us. Laura, welcome.
Thanks, Rocky, Master Toastmaster, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow members, and honored guests, and especially Sam. So the first thing I wanted to start off with this evaluation is that, as already Shannon has alluded to, and Rhonda, is that just the fact that you're getting up here and doing a speech is a huge accomplishment. There's a lot of people who come to Toastmasters meetings and, come as guests, and, they see people giving these really great speeches that are, dynamic and, very animated. And I sometimes feel like when they don't get the chance to see an icebreaker, they kind of lose the idea that, like, everybody starts at a point in, the spectrum of making speeches, and it's all about our journey to where we want to be as speakers. And the fact that you were able to get up here and give such a well-prepared, as we've said, a speech where you weren't pacing, you weren't saying a lot of filler words, and that you kind of were able to insert humor is a huge accomplishment, and you should feel very proud about that. Getting to your speech, I really related to this because I was thinking about that There are just people who have, characteristics or aspects in their life that when they first meet people, they're automatically, starts a question. Mine is, wow, you're so tall. That's always the first question anybody asks me when they first meet me. And I have to be like, oh, no, I did not play basketball or volleyball. But for you, it's your name. And so I think that the details about your upbringing and your heritage it was a perfect subject for your icebreakers, because now we all know this. I wasn't going to ask you that when I first met you, but now I know, and I'm fascinated. And as Shannon says, we want to hear more because that's why we come to Toastmasters. It's about learning about your fellow Toastmasters and the stories that make them you, or them. Excuse me. So before I also jump into the speech, I always like to remind everybody what the goals are. For the icebreaker, it's to begin speaking before an audience and to discover speaking skills you already have and skills that need some attention. As I've already mentioned, you've done a great job. I definitely want to just hit on some of the key points that are in the evaluation here. You were very well prepared. As you said, you didn't need your notes. You obviously had thought about the stories you wanted to tell. You had inserted the humors in certain points, and you did very well at that. Did the speaker did he talk clearly and audibly? Yes, you had great diction. We all said, we were able to hear you. Does the speech have, definite open body and conclusion? Yes, you clearly say that you were going to talk about your name, and you did that. And then in terms of, I'm going to jump down here to what were some things you could have done differently to improve the speech. I think you could have been maybe a little quicker with your pace. I think sometimes when you have great stories and you have inserts humor, it's great to have pauses after those so we can all laugh and kind of reflect. But I think you could have picked up your pace a little bit, and you might even have been able to expand a little bit more on maybe what life was like in Arlington growing up more. And then finally, I just thought you did a great job with all the stories you had in there to explain kind of the struggles you've had with your name, but then also really that it was something we could all relate to, and I'm sure we could all get up here and talk about our struggles. So perfect icebreaker. Really look forward to your next speech.
So help me welcome on his icebreaker, Michael. Michael, welcome.
Thank you. Fellow Toastmasters, good evening. I'd like to start off with a question. By a show of hands, how many people actually have something to be thankful for? As we approach Thanksgiving, this holiday has become a lot more to me than not having to go to school/work, and of course the main thing, eating tons of food and sleeping it off like I'm Garfield the cat. After 33 years, I'm still thankful that I have life. I turn on the news, whether it be 2, 5, 7, 9, 66, and I don't even speak Spanish. There's always a story of some young person getting killed. 7 times out of 10, they don't even make it to see 21. So it's gotten to the point I don't even want to watch the news anymore because I just get so depressed. So, it gets so depressed, and I just can't watch the news. So every time I wake up, I have to say I'm thankful because I have another day at life. Another thing I'm thankful about is my future. I remember back in the day when I was growing up as a child, I would always wonder, where is my life going? I'd run into people that I graduated high school with. And after the conversation, they would give me I'm married and I make $80,000 a year and I have a wife and 2 kids and the whole white picket fence speech. That speech used to get so depressing to me because I would wonder, why isn't my life like this? I would get so depressed. I would get so sad. I would get a little upset. But as time went on, some of my goals that I wanted for myself started coming to pass. I graduated college. I got my credit card paid off. I started working on my future career of writing my novels, writing my scripts, won a couple of them. So I have the faith in knowing that all of my goals will be accomplished in God's timing for me, not my own timing. Another thing I'm thankful about is my job. I don't have the perfect job or the aforementioned $80,000 a year job, but I have a job that pays above minimum wage and a job that a good 8 times out of 10 I actually like. Plus, the main thing about the job is the fact it gives me a roof over my head, it puts food in my stomach and clothes on my back. Considering with this economy that we're in where it's hard to even get a job working at McDonald's, I am definitely thankful for the job that I have. I'm even thankful for the things that may have been seemed unfair to me growing up. I remember when I was 13 years old, my mom and dad, they separated. And I remember being with my mother on the weekdays and my father on the weekends. Did I like it? No, because I didn't like being shuffled around like a ping pong ball. But I could look at that fact, or I could look at the fact that I still had 2 parents who loved me unconditionally despite everything that was going on. I remember high school. I used to get yelled at by teachers, picked on by students. When I was in high school, it depressed me so much where I just basically shut down. I barely graduated high school. As I look at that fact, though, I can look at those negative aspects, or I can look at the fact this is the same high school which helped me get my first job. This is the same high school which helped me graduate, even though everybody knew I got tired of school. This is the same high school that gave me a relationship of 12 years later with a beautiful woman, and granted, even though it didn't work, we're still in each other's lives. But most importantly, it taught all these lessons taught me I had to toughen up in life because life is unfair. And I have to deal with the things that happen with my life and deal with the difficult situations. So in conclusion, I'm thankful for the life that I've been given. It's not perfect. I may have not had the perfect life, but if I look around, I can basically guarantee that nobody has the perfect life. But I have been given dreams and a future, and I know that I will accomplish them in time because I've been given the tools that I need to survive. Thank you.
To give some feedback to Michael. Rhonda?
I'm not going to read everything on this paper, but I will start at the top. What are some of the strong points you have? Your speech was very personal, and you displayed emotion, but you never really let it overwhelm you. So when you got to the parts about maybe, getting bullied in school, you didn't appear sad. This is just, it helped make who you are, but you got over it and you're still thankful for who you are today. So the purpose of the icebreaker is for us to get to know you, and I think this speech did that for us. Even if we might not know necessarily you went to, say, Hyde Park High School, we know the experiences you went through getting through high school. We might not know what your job is or what you do exactly, but we know that whatever it is, it's something that is paying your bills. So you did that. You served the purpose of an icebreaker by helping us learn more about you. Did your speech reflect adequate preparation? Obviously, you wrote a speech because you did have it here. You even looked at it occasionally, but most of the time, you didn't really use those notes because the speech was about you, and if anyone knows you, it's usually you. So, good job there. So, did you use notes? Yes, but I really think that a lot of times those notes are more like a crutch for people, myself included, which is why I have this paper better. I always have paper in my hand whenever I give a speech because it makes me feel better. But you probably really could have gotten away with no notes. Definite opening, body, and conclusion. Yes, your beginning, why are you thankful? The body, how you became who you are to make yourself thankful. And in your conclusion is your present state. And like I said, life might not be perfect, but you woke up today, so you're thankful. What could you have done differently? You have a few nervous ticks up here, which is your icebreaker though, so it's going to take a while for you to get used to it. I rarely saw you look at us. Most of the time, I don't know where you were looking, but you just really didn't look at us, and so you got to kind of engage the audience a little more by giving us that, eye contact. So you started off in the beginning with, are we thankful? So yes, okay, now we're paying attention. But then after a while, if you never look at your audience, sometimes you'll end up losing them. So just try to don't really look at anybody, just look like you're looking at somebody. Sometimes that helps. But in general, like I said, for that to be such a personal speech, you did a really great job. And even though I'm not a member of this club, it's hard to say I hope I get to learn more about you, but maybe I'll visit again and then I can hear another speech you'll give. So thank you.
Thank you so much. And you certainly are welcome to come back and join us, and I hope you do see Michael and see the rest of us as well. A presentation that is an excellent tool for using in connecting with others. It's simply that. How do you connect with others is simply by finding out about them. So this is going to be an interactive session so that you have the tools that I made up, and I'm going to share that with you. And it's simply this. How do you connect with someone very quickly? And it's simply by asking about them. And it's going to be 4 areas. You ask them about, how did you get to where you're at? That's question number 1. And if you like, you can write these questions down. Because, as you'll see, we're going to pair up and you're going to ask someone. So how did you get to where you're at? Be impressed. That's an impressive question. I'm so impressed. How did you get to be a CEO or a captain or this or that or something about that person? So that's question number 1. Question number 2 is, so I'm curious. Be curious when you ask someone. It's almost like now you want to be curious because people are fascinating if you think about it. They have a walk in their life. And so be curious. So I'm curious, from your perspective, where do you see yourself in the next 18 months? I'm just curious. Where do you see yourself in the next 18 months? So it's a position of curiosity that allows you to engage somebody. And when somebody feels that, oh, somebody's curious about me, somebody's really taking an interest in me, I'm going to share. And here's what they're doing is foretelling their future in 18 months. Close enough. It's not 10 years. It's close enough, 18 months, but it's not next week. It's a gap. Changes happen in 18 months. We're not the same person that we were 18 months ago. So that's question number 2. Question number 3. So what is it exactly that you've contributed in the world? So that's a contribution. How are you contributing to the world? Now this is very altruistic because, you see, people have to step back and say, oh, why am I contributing? Well, it really is a higher level question. And we all want to be touched at a higher level. It's almost a spiritual question because we're here for a purpose. And we're almost asking that purpose. And not many people ask that. So that's question number 3. Question number 4 is, what are you grateful for in your job, your position, your relationship, whatever it is? What are you grateful for? So that's 4 questions. Number 1 is, if you think about it, it's the past. We're going to past, the future, and the present. What is it? The past is, so how did you get here? Very, very curious. And I'm also curious what the future looks like for you in 18 months. And then you bring it to the present. So what are you grateful for? That's the present. Or what are you contributing? That's the present also. And what are you grateful for? Those are past, future, and present. So if you would, please pair up, two, and Shannon and I.
Supposed to write this stuff down.
I'll open it, I'm gonna remember it so I can share it.
There was a lot of faith in my spiritual journey, like you heard from when I was at the when I was speaking. I went through a whole lot of rough points in my life, but with faith in what.
So maybe like, that's not the right word.
We do want to get a little feedback as to how you felt asking those questions and being asked
I
them.
felt that I had to find something positive in each of these questions because that negativity would affect my partner. And it's not about not saying everything, but it's more like finding that positive, twist. Because then it actually helped me realize how much of it really is good for me. So that's what I liked about it, that I chose to be more positive, and it actually worked out a lot better for me.
Wow, very nice. Thank you, Marie.